Your childhood home, your nostalgic haven, it's changing forever, and the community has voted on it. Yes, we are adding a new skill to the game. But what's it going to be? I don't know yet. But there are 3 options that Jagex has pulled at this point: Taming, Sailing, and their wild card, Shamanism. I woke up on the 27th of March 2003 to this brand new blog post and video presentation of a new skill, 3 new skill pitches by Jagex. They're very careful in these pitches to make sure that everyone listening knows that these are just suggestions, just light overview versions of the skills, and they're not going too deep into any of them. So I would say be careful about getting a really heavy idea of for sure what each skill is going to be, because I think that no matter what we see today, by the time they're released, they could change majorly. So what are the 3 skills? Well, this will give you a pretty good idea. But if you want more detail than that, first off, we have the Taming skill. You want your pet dragon? You've got your pet dragon. As you go along your Runescape journey, you can capture, obtain, befriend varying animals. The higher your taming level, the cooler thing you can get. I'm sure level 99 is a dragon. Maybe 90 or something like that, but what's cooler than a dragon? There's not many details on how this will actually go about, and I think many people's concerns are, hey, if we're in crowded areas like the Grand Exchange, if every single person has this giant dragon following them, that's gonna be clutter. It's gonna be annoying to look at. I'm sure there's workarounds actually, so if that's your only reason for voting no to Taming, hold that. To me, Taming's the perfect skill for 10-year-olds. I think we all wanted this back in 2005. I often fantasized about what it would be like to have my own dragon in the game. Does it work today? Maybe, but now that we're adults, maybe we realize the responsibility and burden that come along with having a pet. It might be no different in game, except for that the responsibility and burden comes in the form of training this skill to 99 for, 50, 100 hours or something like that. All while potentially not adding that much to the game. Who knows? There's some really cool concept art, such as a guy flying with a bird. But check this out. This guy holding like a blue glowing hand over a bear's head, probably like to tame it in some way. And all these pieces of concept art are pretty cute, actually. New areas, new pets, minigames where you train agility with a wolf. Currently, the community is not very enthused at this one. So, let's move over to sailing. Voyage onto the high open seas as a pirate. You can shoot other ships, you can own a ship, upgrade your ship. Seems pretty cool. This is not a core gameplay loop. Doesn't really make sense. This is the skill that has been in the community lore for decades at this point, seriously. It's been an April Fool's joke, it's been a serious suggestion in the past, and here we are again. Do you want sailing in the game? It does feel like it offers up a lot of variety of potential new updates. Maybe there's islands that you can explore. Maybe there's skills out at sea that you can explore, like an expansion to fishing. But there's a lot of unanswered questions when it comes to sailing, such as, how do you even move? They say that the current click-to-move system might feel weird on the open sea. We've been toying with options like unique pathfinding algorithm, keyboard entry controls, or a special navigating interface. Bon voyage! No, they specifically say it won't be like that.
We definitely want to be more ambitious than the Bon Voyage quest.
There's a lot of potential here. I think that the scope is potentially too big. It's so big, it'll take a good 5 years to flesh this skill out to be a decent experience. That's what I think. I mean, they've got an entire ocean to fill, and you can fill large spaces with randomly generated events and things, but I think that when you do that, they ultimately become lifeless and boring. You give up the option to fill it with specific artistic choices that mean things. Oh, the mermaids live here because of this reason. Stuff like that. Maybe some places are static and some places are procedurally generated, and that's okay. But there's a lot of potential here, and I mean, check out this ship crashing into that wave. That's just kind of juicy. So, do you want sailing to be added to the game? Do you have a little pirate in you? And finally, on day one, the sweetheart of the skill pitch blog post is Shamanism. Your mastery of Shamanism will let you unlock your third eye and gain access to the spirit realm and communicate with spirits lingering between the two worlds. Forage for natural components throughout the world. Gather spiritual components at disturbed sites. Draw a ritual circle anywhere in the world. create powerful shamanic items through rituals. It's a pretty good pitch. First off, utilizing a bunch of things that are already in the game, such as, a hill giant or a wolf. Go up to them, collect wolf blood, something like that. You have to do it yourself. Bring them all together to make tikis, poultices, oils, and totems. We don't really know what any of those means, but when I think of a totem, I think of a thing that you place down and then get an area buff from. An oil that you apply to items. Poultice? I don't really know how that would mechanically work. And same for a tiki. But this is the kind of the thing that makes me excited. It's like going into a place and experiencing the upside down. Stranger Things reference. The Twilight Realm, Twilight Princess reference. It's going into Gielinor and seeing that there is, another dimension that you can actually go into? Finally. I used to daydream about this, once again, like 15 years ago. I thought about a second dimension in RuneScape that you could go into and then your skills would be reset and then there'd be 2 versions of your character progressing together. This isn't that, but it makes me reminisce. And check out these images. We've got a guy mixing things in a cauldron. Is this a gory scene? Is that a hellhound? Oh no. Ritual circle, guy with a twig and a skull. This image right here is, I think, what has most people excited. Can we talk about untradeable best in slots? I think Shamanism has potential to turn your main game experience a little bit more Iron Man-y. You're solo. You can't be given the most powerful items in the game. If the most powerful item in the game becomes whatever the current best in slot is, plus an enchantment that is untradeable. Or it goes another way. There's all kinds of MMOs with an enchantment system. You successfully enchant something and it becomes I'm going to use a Bandos chestplate as an example. A Bandos chestplate +1. Enchanted again, a Bandos chestplate +2. Enchanted again, a Bandos chestplate. Oh, actually you failed this one. It goes all the way back down to a regular Bandos chestplate. All of a sudden, you've got these very sought after Bandos chestplates +18s that become extremely valuable. I don't actually want that to happen. It feels a little bit like a mobile game, but it's one of those things that could happen. As has been said many times, none of these things are set in stone, so these best in slot augments could be untradeable. They could be tradable. It can go either way. Shamanism has the potential to buff everything in the game, both skilling and combat, with oils buffing tools, says it down here, or relics that can provide magical support. Maybe that's combat magical support. Maybe that's skilling magical support. That's anything. But I will say that if we add Shamanism to the game, there's no going back, and we take one step closer to an eternal Halloween. 6 hours have passed since these pitches have been announced, and Reddit has some things to say. The current top post, the most upvoted post, gives his summary thoughts on everything. Shamanism. I like this concept a lot. Feels like a combination of the better parts of invention. Modifying existing items with new effects. Divination, which is going to special locations to gather materials. And there's the whole spiritual aspect, and ironically summoning. Oils being temporary buffs that enhance a specific aspect of the game. Okay. Well, I don't really think you can apply summoning to that. While mechanically true, there are so many different parts of the game that are mechanically similar in making you stronger that you'd have to say that everything is like that. Oh, it could mean a better sword is like summoning. Sailing. When I saw this, I literally rolled my eyes. But after reading the pitch, it actually sounds rather interesting. Okay, bro. I don't know why you're rolling your eyes without knowing what it is. Taming. This one I don't really see working out as well. One of the things I really dislike about RS3 is how more or less everyone is followed around by some sort of pet. Going bossing, pack yak, steel titan, or nil skilling? I don't actually know that one. Get your appropriate boost pet. As for training these pets and doing obstacle courses, that just seems like a mini game to me. And if they give tangible bonuses, then we're just back at summoning again. We might be trading pouches for kibble to make the pet dragon not eat us. That's a good point. That's a good point, actually. That actually lines up perfectly, where I feel like this would pass if we were all 10 years old, and even if it is just a bunch of instanced minigames, I think we would love that, if only to allow us to have a dragon follow us around. It's a worthwhile trade. I mean, half of us used to play Neopets. Here's a thought that I've seen echoed across many posts. Sailing. I struggle to imagine sailing not just feeling like a minigame. I don't really relate with this one. I feel like it could legitimately feel just like another travel method where maybe you move like 4 times faster than walking at some point. To me, something feels like a minigame when it's like a time-based challenge, instanced, maybe with a team. You go there and earn specific points towards it, and you grind out the reward and you're done. That's a minigame to me. So maybe if I thought about it longer, I could like connect those wires in my mind, but sailing feels like sailing to me. Taming kind of sounds like a hunter expansion rather than its own thing. Sure, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I wanted to fight this one by saying like, oh, if crafting were in the game and smithing were to come out, someone would say, oh, they should just add smithing to crafting as an expansion, but this feels real to me. I'm actually gonna go with this one. I don't think that Hunter's that bad to train. It's got like decent experience rates, but in reality, it's like the 4th or 5th least common 99 in the game. So maybe if adding Taming to it as an expansion could help it, maybe that's worth doing. This guy says Shamanism. All right, now we're talking. This one feels like it fits into RuneScape as almost seamlessly. And this is the feeling that I've been getting. Most people are into Shamanism. I don't want any of these skills. Or I do want all of these skills. Having played the game since RuneScape Classic, I've been there for every new skill that's added to the game. They're always super fun, super enjoyable, for like a month. But then, you're left with a 200-hour chore to check that box that you finally got 99 in the skill. And it will always be an unchecked box until you do it. Every new skill shapes your character. In RuneScape, we don't have different classes and races that we pick at the beginning of the game. We're all humans that become super master awesome people that are super talented and skilled by the end of our training. Maxed accounts are cool and they're defined by the things that they can do. They can hit hard and they can chop a tree super well and they can fish amazingly. And they're master pickpockets and all these things. Now, do we add something to that list? They also are super good with animals. They're expert ocean navigators. They can sail. They are Harry Potter. They're shamanism. They're spooky witches. So I want to think of it in those terms. If we add one of these skills, what does it make us more like? Well, I've got the answer. I think that if we add taming to the game, we're more cute. It's Pokemon. If we add shamanism to the game's tone gets a little darker. We're all witches. We're a little spooky. And if we add sailing to the game, we're just a bit more epic. And I'm talking about like Homer's Odyssey kind of epic. Sailing is an epic activity. Now, as presented in these pitches, sailing's not that cool. Shamanism is, but I want to reiterate, I think that we are voting mainly for a theme, because any mechanic that you have seen in Taming or in Shamanism, any reward, any gameplay loop can be implemented into any other one, just with a different theme. And I really think that. So, my final series suggestion is this. Let's not add in sailing, no taming, no shamanism from me. I'd rather be like that one kid from the taco commercial. Why not both? Shamanistic pirate herder. That's right. You're taming whales on the high sea with the power of the spirit world.